Vladimir Putin's Russia has just presented to the entire world and the West its most formidable tank. This tank, greatly feared by the West, is the one Russia has named Terminator. This is Terminator. Terminator. Is this tank modernized, which was in service, which was presented, I would say, by the Russian Ministry of Defense a few years ago, but it was not yet truly in service. Russia is therefore preparing to put this tank into service. You see its name Terminator, that's its nickname. In terms of tanks, it is almost equivalent to the missiles known as Satan II. That is to say, when we consider Russian missiles, there are categories. One of the higher categories is Satan II. In terms of tanks, there are several categories, but the tank whose degree, level of modernization, and danger approaches a bit more, the Satan II missile is Terminator. As its name suggests, it comes to finish what has been started. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from your respective positions. I wish everyone an excellent Friday. Welcome to the Tribune of Consciousness Verses. Thank you for sharing the video conference as much as possible. So, Russia has proceeded with the presentation of the modernized version. I do mean the modernized version of Terminator. What needs to be said is that Terminator was presented for the first time at the Ural Expo 2000 Arms Fair. It was in March, the year 2000. So, it has existed for 25 years, and Russia presented it. So, it was presented under the label of the prototype, which is called BMPT. Yes, it was unveiled in the year 2000 under the name BMPT. That's its old version. So BMPT is the Russian acronym. There you go. So, it's a combat and tank support vehicle. That is to say, it's a combat and tank support vehicle. It alone has two roles. Two roles. At the same time, it is a combat vehicle itself, but also it is there to support other tanks. So it's the tank of tanks. Yes. So, it's a Russian tank support combat vehicle designed on the chassis of the T-90 battle tank. So, it's the chassis of the T-90 battle tank that was used to make it. Now, we already know the danger posed by the T-90. It's a type of tank that is highly ordered all over the place. Many countries, nations around the world ordered this tank from Russia. And so, he's his superior, his dad. So, what needs to be said? This tank's function, according to official information, is to accompany and protect other armored vehicles. It accompanies them and protects them. Maranatha. Its function is to accompany and protect other armored vehicles on the battlefield. It's not just anywhere, but on the battlefield. It accompanies other armored vehicles. It also protects them. Terminator. So, it was developed based on the experiences from the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and the Chechen War. So, here is the initial information about this tank. Regarding its armor, its thickness and inclination, its armor is composite and an explosive reactive armor. So, in terms of armament, it has 2 machine guns, 2 A-42 of 30mm 850 shells, 4 anti-tank missiles attacking. That is to say, the tank is truly equipped. It is extremely equipped. You see, 2 machine gun cannons, 4 anti-tank missiles. I said when it moves on the battlefield, on the ground, on the front, everywhere there are tanks arriving, it bombards. So, Secondary armament, it doesn't stop there. This tank is armed with an automatic grenade launcher, AGS. 17 of 30 minutes, 600 grenades. It can launch 600 grenades at once. It is also armed with a coaxial PKTM machine gun of 7.62 mm caliber. 2,000 rounds. Maranatha. It's too powerful. So, its engine is a V12 diesel engine. Its power is 1000 HP 735 kilowatt 2000 TR, and thus its speed. On the road, it's 60 km per hour at 105 km per hour on roads. Its power to weight ratio is 20.8 tons. Its range is 550 km. Here is the new machine. The dangerous machine that Russia has had to present. And so, Russia has unveiled its newly modernized tanks. Armored monsters. It is the Russian Ministry of Defense that presented this modernized version of the formidable BMPT. Terminator, on a training ground located in the Special Operations Zone. So, these tanks are currently training, and these tanks are already in the Special Zone, in the Special Operations Zone. They have already been relocated there. So, and what needs to be said? It is a true terror on the battlefield. The Terminator is armed with 2 cannons, as we mentioned earlier. And so Russia is so confident in what it possesses that Vladimir Putin has issued a threat to NATO. Putin has made it clear to NATO that they are trying to provoke war with Russia, but it is a provocation veiled under the guise of a form of peace, since the West and NATO say that they want to achieve peace, but this peace would require forcing Russia into peace. And forcing Russia into peace leads to a real provocation of Russia, and that is what Russia does not want. Vladimir Putin announced that he understands very well. Russia understands these provocations very well, and that it is not a show. What he is saying is not a diplomatic trick either. If NATO persists, if NATO insists in this direction, NATO will face Russia, which is ready for anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the international news headline. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.